Welcome back to Fun Valley, everybody. Steve Carpenter with you as we get set for game number 2 of this opening day doubleheader between the Hutchinson Blue Dragons and Pratt Beavers. Steve Carpenter with you. Hutchinson won the first game 16-1 in 5 innings. Now they go after the sweep, and sophomore Destiny Schultz in the circle for the Blue Dragons. Des, a 5'8" sophomore from Deer Park, Texas. Made 7 starts, 19 appearances as a freshman, 4-3 record, a 6.22 ERA. She had 1 save, 1 complete game. 50 2/3 innings pitched, 85 hits allowed, 60 runs, 45 earned. Only struck out 21 and walked 16. Opponents hit 370 against her. 2 things that she wants to improve on mightily is cut down the strikeouts and improve her strikeout totals and cut down on the hits and runs. She'll face this lineup: Keely Byers, the center fielder, followed by the shortstop Carrie Schuler. Manager Marissa Jones bats third. Batting fourth is Lindsay Loomis, the right fielder. Tamara Bryant, left field. Kiara Whitmore, the catcher. Michelle Castillo, the third baseman. And Ashley Webb plays second and doesn't bat. So here we go. Game number 2 is underway, and it's a strike called. First pitch at 4:12 p.m. Dragons won the first game 16-1 in 5 innings. Huge offensive outing. The pitch, and there's strike 2 called. Byers in the first game 1 for 2 with the run scored. She was hit by a pitch and struck out once. The pitch. Upstairs, a ball 1-2. We talked in game number 1 extensively about new pitching coach Ray Aguirre helping out DJ Cannon. Be very interested to see what he does with Dez. Here's the pitch. Curveball called strike 3 inside corner. That had some zip on it. Good movement late. Dez gets her first out. And here's Carrie Schuler. Schuler 1 for 2. She doubled, drove in Pratt's only run. Smokes that one up the middle. Master Reynolds cuts it off, and old Schuler to a single. Now Marissa Jones is the designated player in this game. She was 1 for 3 in game number 1. Going back to Des Schultz freshman year, she had a tendency to leave a lot of hittable pitches up. Saw that there. There's ball 1. Just in the early going watching. I didn't everything else that I have to do, and the fact that Fun Valley is all the way, 5 miles from my office, so I don't get a chance to come out and watch practice. But early on, that pitch back to the screen over there with the catcher, Cameron Pope. That'll be a wild pitch. As much as anything, inconsistency was the biggest negative to Dez's freshman year. Pitch upstairs, 3-0. She didn't walk many batters, did Des Schultz last year. She only walked 16 and 50 2/3 innings. She also was hit hard on occasion, leading a lot of pitches right out over the plate. The cripple right through there for a strike, and it's 3-1. Pratt had an early scoring opportunity against DJ Cannon. She was able to work out of it unscathed. Dez into the wind. High pop. Will it stay in? Bass and Pope give chase, and they run out of room. But a count now full to Marissa Jones. 2.5 complete in Coffeyville. Blue Dragon baseball with 1-0 lead over Coffeyville. Season opener for Ryan Schmidt's crew. Here's the payoff from Schultz to Jones. Before the pitch can be delivered, Andre Favors grants time to Jones. Dez is into a windup, so that can momentarily unhinge a pitcher. We'll see how Dez, I hear Ray Aguirre saying, get right back into it. Here's 3-2 pitch. Tap foul at the plate. Dez had Jones way out on her front foot. Three, 2-1 out here in the top of the first. Just underway game 2. The Dragons won the first game 16-1. Pitch, lost her. Jones walks, first and second, 1 out. For the right fielder,
number 13,
Lindsay Loomis. Loomis 1 for 2, struck out once. Pratt struck out 7 times against Dragon pitching in game number 1. The pitch. Strike at the letters. All single hits from the top 5 people in the order. Only 1 extra base hit. Dragons had 6 extra base hits and a 16-hit performance. Swing and a miss on a rise ball, 0-2. Talked about the inconsistency of Des Schultz. For times she just really lacked in confidence in her stuff. 0-2 pitch. Just misses high. That was a good pitch on 0-2. What they call a good miss. Wasn't a waste pitch 5 feet out, but it was within reach of the zone to maybe make you chase, and that's what a good 0-2 pitch will do. Now the 1-2. Curveball high and tight, 2-2. Big chance for Dez to get out of a jam. The pitch just is low from 0-2 to full count, 3-2 to Loomis. Where the sophomore Des Schultz needs to put the freshman year in the past. The pitch. High ball 4 and the bases are loaded. After catching Byers looking to start the game, a single to Schuler and back-to-back walks to Jones and Loomis have them loaded. Now the first baseman. Alexi Sanborn. Sanborn was a starting pitcher in game number 1. She was 0-2 with a strikeout. Only lasted 2 innings. Gave up 8 runs and 9 hits. The pitch. Swinging a foul back to the screen. Pratt loaded the bases in the 4th against DJ Cannon. The Blue Dragon starter worked out of it unscathed. We'll see what Des Schultz can do here. It's going to be a big confidence booster. She could do the same. Change up, misses high and outside, 1-1. Dragons 16 runs, 16 hits, no errors, 4 left on. Pratt 1 run, 5 hits, 4 left, 2 errors, and 4 left, excuse me. Pitch. High pop, and it's back out of play. Cam Schultz getting a second straight start behind the dish. Kara DeCrane at third. Izzy Godinez at second. Shelby Felvis at first. Shelby Felvis at second. Raven Bass at first. The same infield. Outfield also the same pitch. Strike 3 at the knees. 2 away, so 2 strikeouts. Walks now. Schultz and out away from getting out of the jam, and she will face the pitcher, Kaylin Garcia. Garcia Was the second baseman in game. They went 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Roller to second. Felvis have it on the first, and Des Schultz gets out of it. A nice job by the Dragon sophomore to work out of the jam. We'll see what that does with her confidence. No runs, a hit, and 3 left after a half inning at Fun Valley. Pratt nothing, and the Dragons coming up. Third Pratt pitcher the Blue Dragons will look at in this season opening doubleheader. Again, no stats available for the Beavers. Garcia, a right-handed pitcher out of LaPorte, Texas. Pratt with a record of 3-6. Hutchinson 1-0 after the 16-1 5-inning run rule win in game number 1. She does Garcia, offense that produced 16 hits and 16 runs. And one of the catalysts was sophomore center fielder Ashton Reynolds. 3 for 4 in game number 1 with a double, 3 runs scored and an RBI. Reynolds, .390 hitter a year ago. And it's in there for strike 1. Dragons scored multiple runs in each of their 4 at-bats in game number 1. 3 in the first, 5 in the second, 2 in the third, and 6 in the fourth. Reynolds takes upstairs, ball 1. Reynolds, Godinez, DeCrane, Bass, Pope, Stockman, Felvis, Jamison, Roberts, the lineup in game number 2. The only difference, DJ Cannon sitting this one out. She is okay. If you were here for game number the dirt and back to the screen. DJ Cannon took a line shot with leg in the 4th inning of game number 1 and did not squarely hit off the knee or any bone. It glanced off the side, but still very loud. You could hear it in my headset. But she is okay. She's going to have quite a bruise tomorrow. But she is okay, so that's good news. Good check swing pop up, foul territory. The first baseman, Sanborn, has it. There's one away. I bring up Izzy Godinez, sophomore from Hutchinson High School. 4 for 4 in game number 1. 4 runs scored, 3 RBIs with a double. Izzy last year, 437.
Izzy Godinez.
Batter, 66 hits, 10 extra base hits, including 6 doubles. Drove in 25. We alluded to it. Becker Roberts in the 9 hole, and then Reynolds and Godinez at the top of the order. What a way to turn the lineup back around. A lot of potential with this Blue Dragon offense in 2018. The pitch. Strike call. Couple of freshmen in game number 1 with hits in their first collegiate at-bats. Of course, we talked about Kiera DeCrane with a home run. 2-run shot in the first, and also Shelby Felvis sliced out of play to the right as the wind now really starting to pick up. Blowing in from the right, sustained 20 and gusty from there. Blowing, according to the flag in center field, blowing from the left field foul pole to the, from the right field foul pole to the left field foul pole. The pitch, way upstairs, 1-1. Dragons notched their, 1-2 the count. My apologies. Dragons notched their 6th consecutive opening game win with that 16-1 5-inning victory. The pitch. Up the middle and down for a hit. And Izzy Godinez is 5 for 5 to start the season. I'll bring up Kiera DeCrane. What a start for this young lady. From Bartlesville, Oklahoma, 3 for 4. A home run, 2 runs scored, and 6 RBIs. Each of her first 3 at-bats netted a 2-run hit, a 2-run home run in the first, a 2-run single in the second, and a 2-run single in the third. Takes high, runner goes on the first pitch. The throw down is not in time. Stolen base for Izzy Godinez. Izzy's now 10 for 10 in her career in stolen bases. So the Dragons have a runner in scoring position with less than 2 out. The pitch to DeCrane. High pop right side, could be trouble, and it drops in for a hit, kicks away from the right fielder. Now going to second is, and the throw goes into left field, and that's going to allow Godinez to score. She was coming before the throw was made. So a hustle play by Kiera DeCrane makes it 1-0. I got to sit here and think about how to actually score that. It is a hit. An error. There's actually going to be 2 errors on the play. The ball kicked away from the right fielder, allowing DeCrane to go to second. And that error also allowed Godinez to score, so no RBI. Just 1 error on the play. Right now the run unearned. 1-0 Hutchinson. Pratt's committed 3 errors in this doubleheader. Pitches a strike at the knees to Raven Bass. And it's 1-1. Good thing is when we stream these, I can go back on the archive and see exactly if I called it right. Assuming our camera guy, Nathan, got the whole play. He's a sophomore, he should. He's well versed in these matters now. Down low. Raven Bass in the first game, 1 for 2 with a double. A run scored. She's ahead in the count, 2-1. DeCrane at second. The wind in the pitch. Pop foul out of play. Dragons have now scored runs in 5 consecutive at-bats this afternoon, which isn't unusual for the teams of the last 2 years. The most proficient offense over a 2-year span in Blue Dragon history, teams of 16 and 17. Way upstairs, Raven lays off, and it's a full count. Last 2 years have really been fun to watch this team offensively. 2 years ago had a lot more pop. The school record, 65 home runs. Inside, and Bass draws a lot. Close pitch. 2 on, 1 out for Cameron Pope, who moves up a spot in the lineup in game number 2. Cameron in the first game, 1 for 3 with a walk. She drove in a run.
Cameron Pope.
Pope out of Woodward, Oklahoma. Her family listening in down there. A big shout out to them. Cam now working in the SID office. Roller up the middle and through for a base hit. DeCrane being waved around third. The throw will come to second, and the Blue Dragons lead it 2-0. Good approach by these Blue Dragon hitters today. Not trying to do too much with the pitches they're seeing. Godinez's run now becomes earned.
Designated player number 14, Brent Stockman.
Brent Stockman will be the batter. Runners at first and second, one out the pitch. Curveball outside. Stockman in game number 1. 1 for 3, drew a walk. Had an RBI and a run scored. Crowd has shrunk a little bit. We had a great opening game crowd out here for the weather conditions. The pitch, slow and away. 2-0. Again, just as a reminder, if you just joined us, if we're planning to come out to Fun Valley on Saturday afternoon for the Blue Dragons doubleheader against the Colby Trojans, that doubleheader's been now moved to Monday at 1 p.m. It's going to be cold out here on Saturday. To a pitch, slice foul. Plus, what will be cool for Brandon, especially and myself, is we get to throw the whole armada at home or at Hall of Fame night. I get to MC it, and Brandon gets to make me look good on the video.
I'll do my best.
That's a challenge in and of itself. I have a face for radio. 2-1 pitch. Strike at the belt, 2-2. Stockman out of Overland Park, Kansas, 2017 recruiting class. Two. Fly ball center field, drifting back and making the catch as a center fielder. No advancement by the runners. And there's 2 away now for second baseman Shelby Felvis. Felvis 1 for 2 with 3 runs scored. She doubled her first career at bat. Also walked once. And indoctrinated the Blue Dragon hit by pitch club. Because it's a revered thing. We'll get into that. Shelvis takes ball 1. 2005 baseball team coached by now Hall of Famer Kyle Crooks. One of his things was getting on base any way possible and getting hit by pitches. There's a strike. 1-1 to Felvis. Getting hit by pitches was one of the ways, obviously, to get on base. Well, it became a challenge, and by the end of that season, which ended up in Grand Junction at the JUCO World Series, Blue Dragon Baseball 2005 had 103 hit batters. That pitch in the dirt. Good stop by the catcher, and it's 2-1 now to Shelby Felvis. And it just becoming a bigger and bigger and bigger thing. And it also trickled down to Blue Dragon softball. The pitch. Slice foul by Felvis, and it's 2-2. Former all-conference third baseman Jamie Tano holds the all-time Blue Dragon softball hit by pitch record, 76, and that's not counting the 21 times that she was called back by the umpires for hanging out over the plate, or so they called. So HBPs at this college, very, very, ground ball is short. They'll go to the fourth, third to get Raven Bass, and the inning is over. But the Dragons cash in with 2 runs on 3 hits, 1 Pratt error, and 2 men left on base. After 1 inning in game number 2, Hutchinson 2 and Pratt nothing. Update from Coffeyville and Blue Dragon baseball. Coffeyville has tied the Blue Dragons at 1-1 after 3 innings. So we'll keep checking in on Blue Dragon baseball. They are ranked 7th in the country and have equal expectations as does this 2018 Blue Dragon softball team, who 1 year ago one victory away from going to the tournament, playing in their first Region 6 championship game since 1988. The last 2 years under Jamie Rose, and with the help of assistant coach Ben Whitsett and now pitching coach Ray Aguirre, this Blue Dragon softball program has moved right at elite status in the Jayhawk. Now, like Jamie Rose said in our preseason interview, and the story you can read on BlueDragonSports.com, they not only just want to be in the Region 6 championship game, they expect to win the Region 6 championship game. So there we go, top of the second, 2-0 Hutchinson. Tamara Bryant will lead it off for the Beavers. And it's ball one from Bryant, who worked out of a bases loaded 1-out jam. Bryant in the first game was 0 for 2 with 1 strikeout. Swinging a line drive foul. Woke a few of the fans up. Again, the crowd not as big in game number 2. Still got plenty of sunlight left. A little more than an hour and a half probably. The pitch, way upstairs, 2-1. The pitch, way high, 3-1. Schultz struck out 2 in the first inning, but also walked 2 and gave up a hit. She continues to search for consistency in throwing strikes. Ball 4. Leadoff walk for the Beavers here in the second. Third walk allowed by Schultz.
Catcher number 25, Kiara Whitmore.
Here's Kiara Whitmore, the catcher. She did not play in game number 1. Whitmore out of Gallup, Oklahoma, hitting in the 8-hole. The line of the pitch. Bunted foul. Whitmore showed butt very, very late and barely got a piece of it. Might get our first look at the throwing arm behind the plate of Cameron Pope. Again, we said she made the shift. She was a starting third baseman all last year. Made the shift behind the plate. 0-1 to Whitmore, the pitch. And outside, 1-1. Velocity's never been the issue with Daz. Just consistency of throwing strikes and consistently coming up without pitches was her biggest hurdles last year. That pitch way high, good snag by Pope. It's 2-1. Bryant walked to lead off the inning. Line of the pitch, way high, and that one kicks off the glove. Ray Aguirre sitting off to our right, charting the pitches. Coaches forced to sit outside the fences this year on buckets. Or designated areas down there. Cordoned off for the coaches. The pitch way high, and it's back-to-back walks to start the second. That is now 4 walks issued Why the Blue Dragon sophomore and Cam Pope's going to go out and talk to her. Here's the thing about walks. There is no defense against them. Not at all. Your defense can't make a play to stop a walk. Your catcher can only do so much to try to frame pitches to get you an added strike. But there is absolutely no defense against a walk. And now Schultz has put 2 on to start. 9-hole hitter Castillo. She bunts through his first strike on a bunt attempt. Michelle Castillo, a freshman, 0 for 2 in game number 1. Hitting from the left side. Corners up tight for the Dragons, looking bunt. There's a line shot snagged by Godin as they go to second for the double play, and could have had 3 if Felbus would have turned a quick pivot, but they get a double play. Changes the inning dramatically. The Dragons were just a hair away from a triple play. Now Whitmore at second, 2 away for Kelly Byers, the center fielder and leadoff hitter. Pitch just misses upstairs. Schultz 36 pitches, 17 for strikes. Double play really changes the complexion of the inning. Now run our first 2 away. The pitch, strike. That pitch had a little authority, a screwball from Schultz. And it's 1-1 to Byers. Game number 1, Jamie Rose collected her 376th win as a Blue Dragon. A little tapper to third, fielded by DeCrane. She throws her out and the inning is over. So Des Schultz has flirted with danger with 4 walks, but has gotten out of it both times. No runs, no hits, and 1 left after an inning and a half. It's the Dragons 2 and the Beavers nothing. Brooke Jamison, Becca Roberts, and Ashton Reynolds to lead off the Dragon second. Fun Valley. Hutchinson won the first game 6-1. Update from Coffeyville. The Blue Dragons have retaken the lead over the Red Ravens 2-1, and they have the bases loaded in the top of the 4th.
Leading off the Dragons, right fielder number 2,
So,
Brooke
Jamison getting her first at bat as a Blue Dragon. Freshman out of Andover. Didn't play in game number 1. First pitch swinging, pops one up behind the bag at second. And the catch is made for out number 1. So 1 away. And I'll bring up Becca Roberts. Speaking of the Blue Dragon way, Zion Bowen
fielder number 8, Becca
gets a bases loaded hit by pitch, and that's how the Dragons got their 2-1 lead. Coffeyville now making a pitching change, and the Blue Dragons leading 2-1 top of the fourth. Bases in Coffeyville. To Becca Roberts. The line from Garcia, the pitch downstairs, 2-0. Becca Roberts hitting in the 9 slot for the second straight game. 2 for 3 of doubles, 3 RBIs, and 2 runs scored in game number 1. The pitch. A little bit low, 3-0. Right now the Dragons are going to have to show a little bit of patience off. Garcia not a powering type pitcher. You just got to sit back and wait for your pitch. 3-0 is in for a strike. The Blue Dragon baseball red shirts have made their way out to Fun Valley. There's the wind and the 3-1. Back to Roberts, and that brings up the top of the order for the Dragons. Ashton Reynolds and Izzy Godinez, and how potent has that 1-2 punch been so far today? So again, we're in an interesting stretch here for Ben Whitsitt, who runs the offense for Jamie Rose. Great speed at first in Reynolds. The Dragons have stolen one today, that by Izzy Godinez. Yeah, with 1 out, we'll see what they decide to do here. The pitch. Baseman her first time up. Coming off a 3-hit game in game number 1. Reynolds now with 60 career hits. These sophomores who are in the everyday lineup, are going to move up charts very quickly. High fly ball, but well foul out of play to the left, and Reynolds hits from an 0-2 hole. After Monday, should the Blue Dragons play that game with Colby, again, the weather not looking really good. It was only supposed to be a high of 40 on Monday, which is better than a high of 26 on Saturday, which when the game was originally played. Dragons are on 10 straight, and we'll be back here till March 13th. Pitch on the hands, pulled foul, scattering the head coach, Melvin Jenkins, standing right at the door. Remains 0-2 to Ashton Reynolds. Roberts at first, 1 away, 2-0 Hutch here in the bottom of the second. The pitch upstairs. Pretty good lead at first by Roberts, but no throw. From the catcher, Kiara Whitmore. The pitch. Hard hit ball, line drive out to the third baseman. This could be a double play, and then back in safely. Roberts. She did what she was supposed to do, froze on a line drive and got back. Reynolds hit out. So Ashton 0 for 2 in this one. Now Izzy Godinez. 5 consecutive hits to start the season. First at bat, this one, a single and a run scored. The first game, she scored from first on a DeCrane single. The pitch. Downstairs for a ball. Now might we see Ben Whitsitt start Roberts at first. The one number I didn't check on, Roberts a transfer from Garden City Community College. I didn't check on her stolen bases. She was a 300 hitter as a freshman. The pitch. Runner goes. The pitch is high. The throw down. Safe. Stolen base for Becca Roberts. And it's a 2-0 count to Izzy Godinez. Second steal of the game. Pretty good throw by Whitmore. Sanborn. 2-0 pitch way high, and it's 3-0 to Godinez. Kiara DeCrane would be next. Starting to get a little chillier out at the Valley. You hear the wind in the microphone. Taking all the way is Izzy. Strike 3-1. Hard hit ball to left field. That's down for a hit. Rounding third is Roberts. She'll score without a play, and it's 3-0 Hutchinson. Izzy Godinez is 6 for 6 to start the season. Becca Roberts scored. Dragons now with 4 hits off of Garcia. 3-0 Blue Dragons. And here's Kiara DeCrane. She scored her first time up. High fly ball to center. Now to the left center, the wind pushes it in. The center fielder tracks it down, and the inning is over. Before we go to break, Cap, got to get Steve Kappenman's. Wyatt Divis clears the bases with a double. Dragons up 6-1 in the top of the 4th. Dragons here lead 3-0 after 2. You're listening to Blue Dragon Baseball. Three nothing Blue Dragons. We head to the third, and as predicted by myself and my video man Brandon Sands, our cameraman Nathan Light is frigid, and that's not a social statement. He's really cold right now because he didn't bring enough clothing out here. Schuler, Jones, and Loomis here in the third to face Des Schultz, who's wriggled off the hook twice. She moves it outside to Carrie Schuler. Schuler singled her first time up. Went really howling out here through the mic. 2-0 now. 40 pitches, 19. Schultz walked 4 and struck out 2. And control wasn't Dez's issue last year. It was really almost being too wild inside the zone. Today, she's struggling finding the strike zone. It's a leadoff walk to Schuler to start the third. 5th walk allowed by the Dragon sophomore. I'll bring up Marissa Jones. Jonas, that is Jones. It was spelled wrong in my stat program, so my apologies to the Jonas family if they're watching. Heard Scott Brooks say it correctly. Showing bonus Jonas. Now they'll throw to second, not in time. Oh, they got her! Late call. Cam Pump And Jenkins is shocked at that call. Melvin Jenkins is going to go have a talk with our base umpire. They didn't catch who he was. So Schuler is retired by Cam Pope. Shelby Felvis taking the throw. It was not a caught stealing. So a race off walk. Now base is empty on Jonas. Here's the pitch. Downstairs. Heading the zone right now. There's 2-0. Ground ball knocked down by a backhander by DeCrane, and she throws out Jonas at first. A fine backhanded play by Kiara DeCrane. And there's 2 away. Now the right fielder, Lindsay Loomis. Loomis walked her first time up. Again, Blue Dragon baseball up 6-1 with a bases clearing double, top of the 4th, and I believe they're still hitting. The inning is now over. They do score 5. Lead the Red Ravens 6-1 heading to the bottom of the 4th. That pitch by Lewis is fouled off for strike 1. Double opening day action. The games in Coffeyville not being streamed by Red Raven Sports Information. We've got too much going on here to send a crew down there. Pitch upstairs, 1-1. As much as Brandon and I would love to get every event, we got to go home and see our wife sometime.
Definitely should.
Here's a 1-1. A little bit low. Des took something off. She's behind the count. 2 balls and 1 strike. Nathan doesn't get a coat on. He's never going to get a wife. He's going to be too freezing to do anything. Here's a pitch. That one drops in there for a strike. Change up from Schultz, and it's 2-2. On Nathan because we can.
He's a good sport about it.
Now a 2-2 pitch. Right back up the box, knocked down by Des. She turns to first, and that'll do it. Little shaky start, but Cam Pope throws out Schuler trying to move up on a wild pitch. And then great backhanded play by Kiara DeCrane. And Des Schultz makes the stop. And the throw out 10 to 3rd inning. No runs, no hits, nobody left after 2.5. Hutchinson 3, Pratt nothing. Raven Bastly off the bottom of the 3rd inning for Hutchinson Blue Dragons. They have scored in 6 consecutive offensive at-bats.
My coach cut on this send-off.
lead game 2, 3-0 after winning the first game over Pratt 16-1 and 5.
The first baseman, number 28,
Raven Bass drew a walk her first time up. First pitch swinging, driven to left center field, playable. And the catch is made for out number 1. Made a comment last inning that the Dragons need to show a little bit of patience
That catcher, number
and try to kind of wait out Kaylin Garcia. Here's Cam Pope, RBI single her first time up. Swings that off-speed pitch for strike 1. And if the Blue Dragons, pitch taken downstairs, 1-1 to Pope, play Colby on Monday, they're on the road for 10 straight. Next Wednesday at Barton, and then 9 days out before they play Murray State, Rose State, Oklahoma Wesleyan JV, at Cloud County, at Garden City. So that's actually 12 straight on the road before an 8-game homestand starting March 13th against Heston College. There's a strike, 2-1. That homestand will consist of Heston, the league games against Coffeyville and Labette, and then the Sterling JV over an 8-day stretch. It's also right in the middle of postseason basketball. Not sure how many games I'll be out here for. There's a swing and a miss, 2-2 to Pope. Garcia gets the sign, the whine in the pitch. You know, the hands fouled back. Cam Pope stays alive. So good. Very enthusiastic crowd on hand here at Fun. We hope to see good crowds out here all year. This is going to be a fun team to watch. Pitch. Pop shallow center, actually behind the bag, and the shortstop makes the catch, 2 away. Looking at the home schedule, there is some games you want to circle. As designated hitter Brent Stockman steps in. Of course, that 8-game homestand starting with Heston, but Coffeyville, and especially Labette. Labette is a perennial Region 6 contender. That's on a Saturday, March 17th. That one will actually get to be at because that's in between 3A state tournament and the national tournament, so I'll actually get to be here for that game, or for that doubleheader. And that'll be on a Saturday. The pitch. Right after the end of the bat to the first baseman, she steps on the bag, and the Dragons go very quickly. 1-2-3 in the 3rd inning. We head to the 4th here at Fun Valley. We'll talk about more about the home schedule coming up when we return. After 3, Dragons 3, Beavers nothing. On to the fourth of Fun Valley. Hutchinson looking for the sweep, Pratt looking for the split. Pratt has played a predominantly JV schedule in the early going. They were swept in a pair of run rolls by NOC Tonkawa. That's the only JV competition they faced up until today. So 0-3 now against NJCAA teams. Des Schultz back to work. Sanborn, Garcia, and Bryant 5, 6, and 7 here in the fourth, and it's ball one to Lexi Sanborn, the first baseman, who took a called third in her first at bat. She's 0 for 3 on the afternoon. There's a strike at the knees, 1-1. Pratt loaded the bases against Schultz with 1 out in the first and came away with nothing. The pitch, high and tight, 2-1 to Sanborn. Schultz walked the first 2 batters of the second inning and then got Castillo to a 6-4 double play that could have been a triple play. Now 3-1 to Sanborn. Last inning, leadoff walk was erased when Cam Jones on a bang-bang play at second threw the runner out. And Schultz got a pair of ground balls to get out of the third. And for the third consecutive inning, it's a leadoff walk for the Beavers. Sanborn draws the walk. Now they'll bring up the pitcher, Kaylin Garcia. Schultz now through 3+ innings has allowed 6 walks, has struck out 2, just 1 hit and no runs. She has 1 wild pitch. Cued off the end of the bat, foul by Garcia, and it's 0-1. And if you're in town Saturday night, come to the Sports Arena for for Hall of Fame night. Keep on to say homecoming. That was last night. That bunted foul at the plate, hitting Garcia in the box for a dead ball, and she hits out of an 0-2 hole. This year's 2018 Hall of Fame class includes a couple of baseball All-Americans and Tim Olson, who played in 98 and 99. Thad Weber in 05 and 06. Called strike 3, a curveball. Catches the outside corner. Garcia doesn't think so. She's wondering where the call is for her from Andre Favors. Third strikeout for Des Schultz. All looking. Now tomorrow Bryant, the left fielder, stepped in. She walked. It was an erased on that double play that was started by Izzy Godinez. Pitching on the hands, fouled off. Another 2 Hall of Famers, Richard Morsden, who played for Hall of Famer Gene Cady in the early 70s. A bunt right back to Bryant. Only play will be to first with Shelby Felvis covering. A 1-4 sacrifice bunt. Sanborn moves up to second, but there is 2 away now. I'm going to bring up the catcher, Kiara Whitmore.
Catcher number 25, Kiara Whitmore.
Whitmore walked her first time. She almost was the third out victim. I think Shelby Felvis forgot how many outs there were. Made a really late pivot to first. Could have been a triple play on the line driver that Izzy Godinez snapped. Double play in this game. 1-0 the count now to Whitmore. Swing and a miss on a rise ball. 1-1. One of the things that perplexed Des when she threw her fresh, she just couldn't figure what happened to her strikeout number. She was a big-time strikeout pitcher in high school, but just couldn't get the punch out at the collegiate level. Pitching out of the hands. That's 1-2. That was a good or a well-located pitch, pardon the grammar. starting to get cold, so things are starting not to come out as freely. I think Brandon has lost the feeling in his extremities. 1-2 pitch upstairs. We knocked down by Cam Pope. We've already given you the condition of Nathan Light. I still see a head bouncing up and down in front of us, so we know there's still circulation.
Still alive.
2-2. Cued off the end of the bat, foul. Des was as shocked as anybody that she just couldn't punch out batters last year with any frequency. She had 21 strikeouts in 50 2/3 innings pitched. Called strike 3. She gets her 4th here, all looking, and the Beavers are done in the 4th. She gets 2 strikeouts in the inning, 4 for the game. And she averts another run being scored by a leadoff walk. Halfway through game number 2. It's the Blue Dragons 3 and the Beavers nothing. Welcome back to Fun Valley, everybody. My good friend and Blue Dragon marketing guru, Denny Stackline, has just nicknamed Blue Dragon baseball player Julian Ripp the Flying Dutchman, who you just hit a 3-run home run to give Hutch baseball a 10-0 or 10-1 lead in the top of the 5th down in Coffeyville. And the staff who's out here, we all got a big chuckle out of that one. So Blue Dragon baseball doing well so far on opening day. Blue Dragon softball with 1 win under its belt. Shelby Felvis leads off the bottom of the 4th inning against Kaylin Garcia and takes ball 1. Felvis 0 for 1 here in game number 2. Looking for his 2nd hit of the afternoon, but she has been on base seemingly constantly. Down low, ball 2. Kayla Garcia, 3 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, no strikeouts, 2 walks. To Felvis, swing, hits one down the right field line, but it's hooking foul. Went about 2 feet outside the line. Dragons with 2 in the 1st. Izzy Godinez scored on a Kiara DeCrane single. No RBI was given on that, and then Cam Pope had an RBI single. That pitch popped up and will reach the seats, and it's 2-2 now to Felvis. Dragons scored 1 in the 2nd. Izzy Godinez an RBI single. She has started the season 6 for 6. 2-2 pitch. Hitter. Right off the elbow. Felvis hit for the second time this afternoon. Doing so the Blue Dragon way. She's only 74. Bunt laid down. It's a good one. And safe at first. Bunt single for Jamison. Perfectly placed bunt. Michelle Castillo charged hard. Threw quickly, but didn't get to Speedy Jamison to a bunt single.
Left fielder, number 8.
So the Dragons have 2 on to start the 4th. Becca Roberts steps in. No official time at bat. She walked and scored in the second. Showing bunt takes high ball 1. So I've made this point a couple of times today. I promise I will get back to the schedule, but a couple of other things have caught my attention since. This 9-1-2 spots in there with all the speed that Jamie Rose has stocked in with Roberts, Reynolds, and Godinez. A slapper foul outside the bag at third. It's 1-1. It's a lot of options here for Ben Whitsett. It's amazing how much pressure that they could actually put on a team just with the speed. That pitch rolls in, gets away from the catcher. Felvis goes to third. Jamison goes to second on the wild pitch. So that takes the force off. And the Dragons have second and third, nobody out, leading 3-0. Roberts had 3 RBIs in game number 1. She's ahead of the count, 2-1. The pitch. Taking low for a ball, 3-1. Another one out of the zone, loads him up for the top of the order. Dragons leading 3-0 and threatening to break it open. High ball 4 and they are loaded. Roberts draws the walk. That is the third walk issued by Garcia. Now here's Ashton Reynolds, 0 for 2. Last time up, she hit the balls right on the screws to the third baseman, Castillo.
Number 7, Ashton Reynolds.
So the Dragons, bases loaded, nobody out, leading 3-0 here in the bottom of the 4th. Time called and asked for by Garcia, who needs to tie her shoe. Officially plates 4 in the top of the 5th and leads Coffeyville 10-1 after 4.5. Here are the Dragons after a 16-1-5 inning win, threatening to break open game 2, leading 3-0 with the bases loaded. And it, nobody out. The pitch pulled foul past third by Reynolds. Reynolds in the first game, she got the season started off with a double to right center. Wound up going 3 for 4. The top 3 in the order in game number 1, Reynolds, Godinez, and DeCrane, a combined 10 for 12 with 10 RBIs and 9 runs scored. Again, pulled foul past third, and Reynolds hits from an 0-2 hole. Pretty good production when you go 10 out of 12 with 9 runs scored and 10 RBIs from your top 3 batters. Line of the 0-2. High and outside. Ashton wouldn't chase. It was a tempting pitch. Upstairs 2-2. That was the 68th pitcher, Kaylin Garcia. 37 have been in the zone. She's allowed 5 hits and 3 runs, only 2 earned. The pitch. Got her swinging on a rise ball. Big strikeout for Garcia. Her first of the game. Now it's bases loaded, 1 away for Izzy Godinez. 6 for 6 to start the season. 2 for 2 in this one with a run scored and a run driven in. Sophomore out of Hutchinson High. She's literally played her entire career on this complex. The pitch. To center field. Shallow. Catch is made. Tagging at third is Felvis. Throws cut off. And the Dragons lead at 4-0. A sac fly for Izzy Godinez. She drives in her second run of the game. Shelby Felvis scores. But now it's runners at second and third, 2 away for Kiara DeCrane. So it's going to take a 2-out hit to really capitalize on what started out to be a bases loaded, no-out situation. DeCrane 1 for 2 with a run scored. That pitch from Garcia taken low. This will be the only meeting of the year between Hutchinson and Pratt. Pitch, low in for a ball, 2-0. For Garcia, she does not have to give in to DeCrane. First base is unoccupied. It would load the bases for Raven Bass, but she doesn't have to give in, being down on the count 2-0 to DeCrane. Hits one over the plate, past the shortstop into left center field. This will plate 2. Jamison and Roberts both score, and now DeCrane's going to try for 3. The throw is not in time. Gets past the catcher. DeCrane's going to try to score, and she is safe. A great hook slide to the inside, and DeCrane scores to clear the bases. 3-run score on the play, and the Dragons lead it 7-0.
Remind me to find that one for highlights.
So 3 runs on the play. I guess got to decide if that initial one was an error. We'll give that a hit, actually a double. 2 RBIs. So DeCrane has 8 RBIs on the afternoon.
The first baseman, number 28, Raven Bass.
Strike called to Bass, who's 0 for 1 with a walk. The pitch. Line shot left field. Nice diving catch. Out there left by Tamara Bryant. That's a web gem for the Beavers, but Hutchinson, scary for the moment, they do take advantage. They score 3 runs in the inning and lead Pratt 7-0 heading to the 5th at Fun Valley. Welcome back to Fun Valley. 7-0 Hutchinson. Steve Carpenter with you. Still getting this tweet in.
Leading off for the Beavers, third baseman number 5, Michelle Castillo.
Be with you momentarily. Strike one. Castillo, the third baseman, who lined into a change. Actually, the complexion. That was defense. Biggest play of the game for Hutchinson. Pitch on the hands, foul back, and it's 0-2. Pratt had a chance with back-to-back walks to lead off the inning to Brian Whitmore to really do some damage. And Castillo lined into that double play. And from bases, runners at first and second, nobody out to a run at first and 2 out. Pitch popped up, foul territory. Crane can't make the plays. It hits the top of the fence. It remains 0-2. It's a 4-run inning for Hutch in that bottom of the fourth. It's a little blooper behind second base. It drops in for a hit. There's one Dez would like to have back. That was a very hittable pitch on 0-2. And one good pitch on 0-2, and that was the foul ball that the Crane couldn't quite chase down. Then she got a little too much to the plate. That's one of the things that she continues to pitch under Ray Aguirre, she will learn to understand. I carry Byers, the center fielder, hitting for the third time. She is struck out looking and grounded to third. She takes the ball on the first pitch. Dez, through 4+ innings, has allowed just 2 hits. He has struck out 4 and walked 6, one wild pitch. Ground ball to third. The Crane has it. Goes to second. Wide throw, but a great play by Felvis to 1, catch the ball, and 2, get the bag. Don't think they were going to turn 2 on that one. But Castillo retired at second on the fielder's choice. Byers now at first with 1 away for Schuler, the shortstop. Schuler's been on base twice. Singled in the first, walked in the third. She was cut down by Cam Pope trying to advance on a wild pitch on a bang-bang play. She takes ball 1. That sun is now starting to dip in behind some clouds and get a little bit lower in the western horizon, which means the temperatures begin to really drop. A little bit inside, says Andre Favors, and it's 2-0. Coffeyville baseball goes scoreless at the bottom of the 5th. Hutchinson leads 10-1 heading to the 6th at Walter Johnson Park in Coffeyville. 2-0. Strike at the knees. 2-1. While it has not been a perfect game for Dez in terms of strike to ball ratios and things like that, good changeup swung on a miss. Runner stays put as the ball kicks away from Cam Pope, but not far enough for an advancement. The fact that Dez Bryant is gutting through these innings and getting out of jams is a very positive sign. 2-2 pitch. Curveball high and away. It's full count. That has been one of her more effective pitches. All her strikeouts have been called third. She has not gotten one swing and a miss strike 3 yet. Here's a payoff. Pulled foul. On pitch number 77 for Schultz. And I just realized I may have said Dez Bryant, and I apologize for that. You get that name stuck in your head. It just completed football season. The pitch, high pop, back out of play. So from time to time, I might slip and call Dez Schultz Dez Bryant. I apologize in advance. SIDs have so many names running through their heads. Sometimes it's very easy to confuse names, even though there's no likeness between the two. Pitch. Little looper. Snagged by Godinez. The throw to first, not in time. Good hustle play by Izzy to run up and catch that one off the shoe tops. 2 away here in the 5th. Here's Marissa Jonas, the designated hitter. Walked and grounded out, nothing for 1 in game number 2. Pitches, 43 strikes now for Schultz. This may call her Des quite a bit just to stay away from that temptation of using the name Bryant, because it's not fair to her. Runner first, 2 away. Dragons leading 7-0. Hard hit ball in the left field. Ball bobbled momentarily by Roberts, but she gets it in. Byers stops in second. It's a 2-out single.
Right fielder number 13, Lindsay Loomis.
Here's the right fielder, Lindsay Loomis. Still pretty good crowd on hand as the sun begins to set. The lights are on at Fun Valley, field number 3. The pitch, down low for a ball. For those of us here, and I will admit, thinking greedy-like, Des gets out of the 5th here. The Dragons go and score, run, and end this in a run rule. That's the hope. We'll see if it comes to fruition. Fouled straight back. Good cut by Loomis. That's 1-1.
I thought you did.
It's a good thing Danny Steckline's not here. Nathan flinched. And if you listen to enough baseball on the Blue Dragon Sports Network, marketing director Denny Steckline will throw anybody in the press box under the bus on Twitter. Called strike inside corner. Well-delivered pitch from Dez, and it's 1-2.
You don't even have to be there.
The pitch. Fouled out of play to the left. Real quickly, let's visit those home dates again. March 13th through the 21, a 8-game homestand, Heston, Coffeyville, Labette, Sterling. March 28th, Tabor JV will be here. Huge weekend on the first weekend of April. Pitch. Foul back out of play. Highland on April 6th, KCK on April 7th. Highland, a perennial power in Region 6 Division 2. And then on April 17th, the defending District E Region 6 champion, Cali Tigers, come in. And depending on how things play out, that is the last Jayhawk East doubleheader of the season, a lot could be riding on that game for the Blue Dragons. The regular season closes out April 24th, sophomore night with the Bethany JV. That's the home schedule, but the Highland Cali series could be huge. 1-2 pitch. Ground ball right side past the diving Felvis. The runners will only advance 60 feet. The Beavers have them loaded. Loomis just guided that ball to a perfect spot on the right side. Jonas moves up to second, Byers to third. I'll bring up the first baseman, Lexi Sanborn, who is looking for her first hit of the afternoon. She walked her last time up 0 for 1, 0 for 3 on the afternoon. So the second time, Beavers have loaded him up against Schultz. Outside of ball 1. Dez has flirted with danger all afternoon with the exception of the 4th. Strike outside corner, 1-1. She has pitched a very gutsy game. Lifted to center. Reynolds coming, and she's got it, and the inning is over. Another gutsy inning for Des Schultz. Pratt leaves them loaded. They've left 8 in the game through 5 innings. No runs, 3 hits, and 3 left. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning at Fun Valley. Game number 2, Dragons 7, Beavers nothing. So here we go, bottom of the 5th. Des Schultz did her job, potentially getting out of here a few minutes early. Now let's get the Dragon offense. Held scoreless only once today. Cam Pope, Brent Stockman, Shelby Phelps, 5, 6, and 7, up against Kaylin Garcia, who's into her 5th inning of work. Cam 1 for 2, an RBI single in the 1st. She takes outside, ball 1 to start the 5th. Cam 2, that's on the afternoon here on opening day 20. Blue Dragon baseball now with an 11-1 lead, heading to the bottom of the 6th. The pitch, upstairs for a ball, 2-0. Dragons and Ravens will complete that 3-game series with a doubleheader tomorrow at 1. Again, the only way you can be able to keep up with it is on the Blue Dragon Twitter feed at Blue Dragon Sport. 2-0, way outside. Whitmore tried to frame it, and that was just a little too far outside to frame, and it's 3-0 to Cameron Pope. Here's the cripple. Up high, ball 4. Leadoff walk to Pope, and she's the potential game-ending run, and Jamie Rose, I think, is going to pinch hit for her catcher as Brent Stockman gets ready to step in. Looks like Bree Johnson again. She pinch ran in game number 1. That's indeed who it will be. We'll get the official, but Andre Favors gives me the word. It is Bree Johnson, freshman out of Ozark, Missouri. She pinch runs for Cam Pope.
Pinch run the Dragons number 22, Bree Johnson.
Now Brendan Stockman looking for her first hit of game number 2, a fly out and a ground out. The pitch, strike called. 80th pitch delivered by Kaylin Garcia. Checking move. Runner steals the base. So Bree Johnson gets the stolen base. Potential winning run now at second base. Got a note from Sammy Lose, who's moved on. She was also a worker. Good bunt laid down. Fielded by Garcia. Played a first in time. Johnson back. So Stockman drops down to sack bunt. Now the potential game-ending run just 60 feet away. And Bree Johnson and Shelby Felvis will be the batter. We're away here in the fifth. Hutch leads 7-0.
Second baseman, number 4, Shelby Felvis.
Always gave Sammy Lewis a hard time about her batting stance, but she could hit the home runs. That punch is popped up and it rolls foul. Trying the safety squeeze, so there's really not a whole lot of mystery as to what Ben Woodset's doing at third. He's trying to get that run across and get this game over with. If Felvis can't come through, it would come down to Brooke Jameson. Quite an afternoon across the board for several first-year Blue Dragons. Of course, Kiara DeCrane, 6 RBIs and a home run in her first at bat. The 6 RBIs didn't come with the home run. She had 3 hits and 6 RBIs. Little looper to left center field. That drops for a hit. Coming down the line to score is Johnson, and the Dragons get the run rule victory, 8-0. Shelby Felvis comes through, drives in the game-ending run, and the ball game is over. Pratt swept today by the Blue Dragons by the scores of 16-1 and 8-0. We will quickly get it wrapped up right after this. Welcome back to Fun Valley, everybody. Steve Carpenter with you after the Blue Dragons on opening day 2018 sweep the Pratt Beavers 16-1 in 5 innings, 8-0 in 5 innings. Des Schultz throws her first career shutout, a 4-hit shutout. She battles through it but got the job done, and the Dragons get an RBI single from Shelby Felvis to score. Pinch runner Bree Johnson with the game-ending run, as the Dragons get the 8-0 5-inning run rule after a 16-1 5-inning game in the first game. Real quickly, let's wrap this thing up. For Schultz, 5 gutsy innings, allowing 4 hits, no runs, 4 strikeouts, and 6 walks. She worked out of 2 bases-loaded jams and came away unscathed. 1 wild pitch mixed in right there. Offensively for Hutchinson, first, let's get to the totals. Still getting back into baseball and softball mode. For the Blue Dragons, 8 runs, 7 hits, no errors, 3 left on. For the Beavers, no runs, 4 hits, 2 errors, 8 left on. Winning pitcher is Des Schultz. He's 1-0. Kaylin Garcia takes the loss. Ball game 1 hour and 33 minutes. 2 hits each for Izzy Godinez, Kiara DeCrane. Those 2 young ladies had tremendous afternoons. DeCrane had 4 hits, 8 RBIs, including a double and a home run. Izzy started her season off 6 for 6, had a sac fly in her last at bat. She drove in 2 with this one. RBIs by Cam Pope and Shelby Felvis. Kind of punctuated the afternoon. The Dragons get an 8-0 victory. Hutchinson, again, if you're planning coming on here Saturday to see the Colby doubleheader, don't. That's been moved to Monday at 1, again, weather permitting. But the Blue Dragons get a very good victory on opening day 2018. They've now won 6 in a row on opening games, and then of those 6, 4 have been sweeps. So the Dragons defeat Pratt both by run rule 16-1, 8-0. That's going to do it. My thanks to Brandon Sams and Nathan Light, who is ready to tear down and go get a hot cup of cocoa or 2 or 5. But that's going to do it from Fun Valley. Thanks to all of you for listening. We will join you again on Monday afternoon. Again, Blue Dragon Baseball right now currently underway down in Coffeyville. You can stay up with them on Twitter. That's the only way to keep score updates from baseball and their doubleheader tomorrow. For the crew out here at Fun Valley, thanks for joining us. We'll see you on Monday. Until then, Steve Carpenter from Fun Valley. So long, everybody.